class, we've made it here to Ivanpah, the concentrated solar power plant where they use a whole bunch of mirrors and reflect light onto a big boiler and create steam and create electricity. We're going to head on inside and get the answers to your questions on how this facility works. We'll talk to you later. Okay, Neve, so you were wondering what those, basically those panels are, those things are all out around the towers.
The things around the towers are mirrors. You might think that they were PV panels or photovoltaic panels, but they're not. They're actually just big mirrors. They're each about the size of a garage door, and they reflect the sunlight up to the towers that you see to concentrate the solar energy, the heat on the tower.
So Parker, you're wondering how many of those heliostats are there around each tower?
Okay, Parker, there are, we have 3 units. The first unit has about 50,000 heliostats. There are 2 mirrors on each heliostat, so there are about 100,000 mirrors around Unit 1, about 120,000 mirrors around Unit 2, and 120,000 mirrors around Unit 3. So,
all right, Sophia, Logan, and Mason, you were wondering what is like the total number of panels for all 3 of those towers out there?
So what, 50,000, 60,000, 60,000, so 170,000 heliostats, 340,000 mirrors total.
Jaden and Reese, you guys are wondering what was the cost and how long did it take to build the facility here at Ivanpah?
You know, those numbers I'm not entirely sure of, so I can only give you estimates. The total costs are something above $2 billion for all 3 units. The time to build it, roughly about 3 to 3.5 years from the time they broke ground to actually start the construction. 3.5 years.
Okay, Kasaya, here's your question. It was, could we power the whole world off of solar?
Okay, Kasaya, that's a really interesting question. And I have read that it's possible. That people have done calculations that it would be possible to produce the entire amount of power that the world uses from solar energy. There's plenty of it out there. The hard part is to collect it all and then to distribute it to the places that it's needed. For example, I've read that the entire power supply of Europe could be produced in the Sahara Desert easily. The problem is that you have to actually collect it all in a plant like this or with PV panels or something, and then you have to run power lines from there all the way up to all the places in Europe that don't get so much sunlight. So the logistics are difficult, but there is enough, theoretically at least, there's enough energy to do it, yes.
All right. And all right, I can't really give a particular name to this because it seemed like the whole grade 8 class was wondering, but what are those tower things out there in the middle of the desert?
Okay, yeah, so the giant towers there's a boiler on top of each tower. So as the sunlight is concentrated by the mirrors, points at it's all concentrated right at the top of the tower where there are tubes full of water that the water turns to steam, and then the steam goes back down to the ground to a turbine generator to generate electricity.
All right, that wraps up our stop here at Ivanpah. Hope you learned something and found it as cool as we did. We'll catch you later at our next stop on Science Road Trip.